This is okay, right?
Yes, ma'am. It is done, ma'am.
Ma'am, it is perfect, ma'am. Please don't change the screens multiple times, ma'am, because our software gets distracted again, so that we can't go live correctly, ma'am. So,
Okay, wait. I will on my video once.
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am, your video will not be visible, ma'am. Only your PPT will be visible through our software, ma'am.
Okay.
Likit, ma'am will not be visible. It's not possible.
No, it is not possible. It is not
It
possible.
is not possible, Trisha.
Okay.
ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು ಟೈಮು?
ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಹಾಕು ಲೈವಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು ಹೇಳೋದು ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು ನಾನು
Trisha, you can start introducing.
We are live now.
We are live now.
Okay, shall I start? Namaste to one and all. As you all know, Jignasa is a pan-India movement to provide a common platform to address all the aspects related to Ayush systems. It is the only platform in Bharat where students of Ayush can directly interact with policymakers of Ayush. We are there with the mission to learn Ayush to practice Ayush, and our vision to empowering Ayush students from campus to community, becoming a bridge between Ayush students and policymakers as well as administrative authorities, and connecting every aspect of Ayush, including students, academicians, practitioners, scientists, industries, hospitals, under one umbrella. So, as you all know, we have been conducting various activities under the Jignasa platform. Today, we all have gathered here on account of World Mental Health Day in the platform of Manasa Mithra to create awareness about mental health. I welcome you all for this guest lecture session. Mental health is a state of mental well being that enables people to cope up with the stresses of life, realize their abilities, learn well, and work well, and contribute to their community. And all. Before I begin with the session, I would request Gautam, our Jignasa State Committee member, to introduce our today's guest speaker, Dr. Dhaneshwari Ma.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gautam. I'm pleasure to introduce our speaker, Dr. Dhaneshwari H.E. Dr. Dhaneshwari HA completed BMS from STM College of Ayurveda, Udupi. Ma'am did MD in Manovijnana Evam Manasa Roga in STM College of Ayurveda, Udupi, and also postgraduate diploma in Hospital Administration from University Apollo Hospital. Ma'am was a PhD scholar on the topic Designing and Validation of Diagnostic Scale for Unmada under Dr. Suhas Kumar Shetty and Dr. Savita HP at STM College of Ayurveda, Hassan. Ma'am currently working as assistant professor in STM College of Ayurveda, Udupi from past 7 years. She was a resource person for academic and non-academic talks. She presented papers in international and national level seminars. Ma'am delivered public talks to different sectors of employees for stress management and health awareness talk to school students, teenagers, etc. I'm heartily welcoming to this session, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gautam ji and Trishal ji for introducing me. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Mr. Gautam ji, for introducing me. In the beginning, let me thank the organizers of this program, Jignasa, the governing committee members of state and central unit of Jignasa, and all the students for inviting me for as a resource person for this the noble event. Today's topic is mental health is our right. Let us celebrate because we need to celebrate our mental status. Hence, let me start the presentation. And these are content of my presentations. And I request the audience of this program to please share your opinion in the chat box. Appreciate me with one reason. There is a tree, and how would like to appreciate this tree from your words. Please post your opinion in the chat box so that I will be getting connected with you all. You can send your opinions in the chat box. Okay, so we need to appreciate this creation in the world because it has a number of usefulness, and we have studied lot of things from our primary school as well as high school, the lot of importance of the tree. But I believe, I trust this is a model, psychological model, because even if you throw stone on it, even if you hurt it or cut it, it will be stable, it will be neutral to all the events the human passes on it. So I believe this tree is a stable, neutral, and it looks indifferent to any events the person does with it. So let me have few warm-up exercise. If the chat box is open, you can place your options so that I feel get connected to all the audience. So the question is, developing a fear of entering unfamiliar situation is known as, we have four options. One is panic disorder, second one is compulsive disorder, third one is agoraphobia, and fourth one is conversion disorders. If the chat box is open, you can
12 ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸರಿ ಸರಿ
please share your message or opinion in the chat box.
ಜನನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇವರೊಬ್ರು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ
ಲಿಖಿತು
Okay.
ಹೇಳು.
We have four options. Among them, you can put your options in the chat box.
ನೋಡು
And these are mental conditions, various mental conditions which create problem to the individual. And we have other options, the ability to use past experiences creatively to solve novel problems. And the previous one, the agoraphobia. Second one, the ability to use past experiences creatively to solve novel problems is known as one, musical intelligence, two, interpersonal intelligence, three, experiential intelligence, and four, contextual intelligence. The answer for this is experiential intelligence. Based on our past experience, we try to solve the issues in the present. Identify the suicidal games because these are becoming a major cause for mental health disturbance in the kids fire fairy, blue whale, cinnamon challenge. So all of the above are considered as suicidal games and killed many kids because of their task, life-threatening task. So all these are suicidal games which cause
ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಲ್ವಾ
lot of mental disturbance in
ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ
kids,
ಕೇಳಲ್ವಾ
creating lot of psychiatric disturbances in the family also.
ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ತಾನೆ.
So why we need to celebrate mental health day? Why the celebration is needed? We know the importance of mental health and why we need to celebrate. Okay, this is the question. Why this day is selected, especially 10 by 10, October 10th, 10 by 10, that means 100%. One should be 100% fit and fine mentally to have, to enjoy the life. So now the question is why this day is selected and why the celebration is needed. So we often celebrate birthdays, right? Birthday of friends, birthday, and they too celebrate our birthday. The purpose of celebrating birthday is we have our life's goal, that is different issue, but when someone comes and wishes you happy birthday, you feel happy, right? When someone gives a gift, it does not matter the amount price of the gift, it's only matter the person has gone to buy the gift for you. He has taken your image or your personality or your character, your friendly relationship, and went and bought some gift and gifted you. And this makes difference, right? This makes you feel happy. That means we are supposed to appreciate ourselves, or we are supposed to keep ourselves alive, or we are supposed to keep ourselves happy depending upon various conditions, and birthday is one celebration which makes you happy. So in the same context, mental health day is also needed because it has become the burning issue in the society, especially after COVID. Before also it was majorly affecting the human beings. And after that, in the pandemic of COVID, lockdown times, the psychological disturbances has elevated up. The peak of the psychological disturbances are seen now. And the survey says in 1 in every 8 people with a mental disorder is existing in the world. 301 million anxiety disorder people are existing in the world. Among them, 58 million children and adolescents. 280 million patients are suffering from depression, and among them, 23 million children and adolescents. 40 million with bipolar disorders. Schizophrenia, 24 million or 1 in 300 worldwide. It is considered as delusional psychotic disorder. 14 million persons are suffering from eating disorders, among them 3 million children and adolescents. India saw 450 suicides per day in 2021. This Times of India has published this survey saying that 450 suicides per day are seen in India. More than million people die from suicide each year all over the world. And majorly, this is because of psychological disturbance the person exhibiting in his life. One suicidal death every 40 seconds. This is really horrible. People are committing suicide. They are ending their life because they cannot live in this world because of lack of tolerance towards the stress. Death in every 40 seconds. It's really horrible condition to the human beings. And these clarification, these survey studies has shown that a number of many persons are suffering in this. And if we consider the social reality, the reality existing in the world, many of the people are not consulting or not revealing their mental status condition or disturbance in the psychological status to anyone because they have the stigma that they will be branded as psychiatric patients or they will be branded as mad. Okay. They feel that people may judge me for my psychological status, or in some no mental health awareness. That means they are not knowing that they are going through some psychological disturbance. So this is reality existing in the world. And considering this reality, if you go back and see this, then the number will really different because it will be more, because many people are hiding their psychological disturbed state because they don't want to brand themselves as psychologically disturbed one. They hide because, let me quote, when any person comes to me, most of the time students, they feel Madam, I don't want to come to your OPD because if anyone sees you, they may feel that I am having some issue. Okay, this is how they develop stigma. They don't want to reveal their issues to others because they don't want to brand themselves as psychologically disturbed one. So even though no, they know the psychological status, mental health awareness, they are unable to connect with the facilities which are available, and this is causing a lot of problem in their future, and they may end their life with the suicidal attitudes, tendencies. So for this, one day is selected so that the people will talk about mental health. The people will talk about the opportunities available for psychologically disturbed one. People will talk about facilities available in the society. People will try to connect with them. People will try to motivate them. People will try to guide them to which direction they are supposed to move, and should they must come out of this condition with the help of others. To help the psychologically disturbed one, this mental health day is celebrated because we need to motivate someone. We need to motivate the person who is psychologically imbalanced. So the theme of this is mental health is a universal human right. That means we are eligible to have a sound state of mental health, mind, so that we can work productively and we can maintain our state of physical health in a fit form. And this is the intention. All human beings have a right to have the proper mental health. And they have listed why this mental day is celebrated to create awareness among people about different mental health conditions and their management. That means we need to know, we should have insight about our psychological status. Many of the time, the people are suffering from dysthymia. Dysthymia means a mild form of depression where they are slowly getting compromised by their duties. And this is called dysthymia, mild form of depression, which is hampering their routine activities. Once the person gets the idea that am I going through the dysthymia, he will try to understand his psychological status. So to create awareness of these conditions, this mental health day is celebrated to reduce the stigma, myths and misconceptions that are associated with mental health. Always people think that if I have any psychological disturbance, I will be kept away from normal people. And this is stigma and this is myths. For example, if you see any celebrities or writers, most of many, a few, if you see their life stories, they are suffering from bipolar disorders or any other depressive episodes. Bipolar disorders, mania and episode. One form is mania, one form is depressive. Okay. In maniac form, they write miracles. They do miracles. Okay. And this is one state of their psychological condition. So people should know what is going wrong with them, what is their strength and what is their weakness. Encourage to seek help from mental health professionals, family, friends, and anyone without any fear or shame instead of feeling anxious or nervous. We are supposed, the person who is suffering from psychologically disturbed state, he is supposed to meet the professionals. He should reveal his condition. He or she should reveal her condition to friends so that they can help them to come out of that condition. So seeking help is also needed. And the most of the time, if you feel your friend is going through some form of depression or any other psychological disturbance, you can go and help them. But when the person seeks help, it will be easy to help other professionals rather than going and helping. Okay, going and helping is also good, but when the help seeking attitude comes from the patient side, it will be better to educate the different ways to protect the mental health. This is very important where the role of Ayurveda comes. Ayurveda says, Swasthasya Swastha Rakshanam. So protect mental health and prevent the disease, and how we are supposed to educate the consequence of mentally disturbed state and the various protocols. We can explain them and help them to come out of that condition. Promoting and protecting rights of people with mental illness, this is very important. They too have their own rights. We are not supposed to grab their rights, branding them they are not mentally sound. So promoting and protecting their rights, to encourage mental health advocates, policy makers, stakeholders to allocate resources to improve mental health services and support networks, because once the facilities are developed, we are supposed, the individuals are supposed to make that facility available to the stakeholders or the person who is suffering from psychological illness. To address mental health issues on a global level through international collaboration, this will dramatically improve the condition to foster a culture where mental health is taken as serious as any other physical health condition. So, when the person is suffering from any physical condition, anyone can quantify, or anyone say he is suffering from diabetes mellitus, he is suffering from prameha, he is suffering from vatarakta, he is suffering from we can name, and that disease is given more importance. Actually we should give importance, but that importance is given to physical health. But when we compare the concept of mental health, it is denied or it is not given importance, and ultimately what happens is this disturbed psychological status will automatically influence the physique of the individual, body of the individual, and results in various disease. So culture, mental health, the culture where the mental health is promoted plays a major role. An opportunity for mental health professionals to set up policies and services in favor of mental health patients. So when a group of people or whole world is looking towards mental health or mental health day is celebrated, what we are giving to the person suffering from mental health, mental illness. So these policies and services will be provided in a better way when all stand together to support the psychologically disturbed person. Now, let me have the definition of health and mental health. We have already know what is health and mental health, but let me brief. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Infirmity is something the disturbance in body and mind. So it is not a physical. It is not absence of disease. It is the stable manner of body and mind. Further, mental health is a state of well being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. That means we may brand ourselves, we are mentally fit. Okay. We may feel low in some time, we may come up. But even if we feel we are mentally sound, what are we contributing to our community? What are we contributing to our society? This makes difference. If we are not contributing anything to the society, we are not fit to be called as mentally sound and mentally healthy person. So if we are contributing anything to the community positively, and that makes one part of mental health definition is fulfilled, and we are fine. Now, what are the causes of mental illness? There are a lot of causes. I have tried to brief few causes. Childhood abuse, trauma, or neglect. When a child goes through the psychological trauma, and this will be reflected in the form of various psychological disturbance of childhood as well as adolescence. For example, if a father is alcoholic and he comes and abuses wife, his mother, and he beats kids, what happens? Child will grow in these circumstances, and finally child will feel this is the life. The life is torturing, life is not so good. The child may get disturbed psychological status and may enter into any other abusive behavior, for example, alcohol or any other behavior, and he may end up with various psychological disturbances. Social isolation or loneliness is one of the cause for mental disturbance. Experiencing discrimination and stigma, including racism. This was very common in the previous time, but now there are a lot of advances in the racism. So this is also this can we can deny this cause nowadays, but in few places still it is existing. Social disadvantages, poverty or debt, chronic diseases is considered as one of the major cause for psychological disturbance. Drug, alcohol abuse, the person or the kid who involves in consuming alcohol may end up with psychological disturbance. Sexual abuse, childhood abuse, financial crisis, family issues, heightened self-respect, ego, competitions and comparison, competition between siblings, competition in the class. Child will get 97 marks out of 100, and the parent says where this that 3 marks had gone. And this will repeat. The child will try to compete with the society, but at one point it gives up because it feels fatigue psychologically. So competition and comparison is one of the mental illness cause. Inability to accept failure, this is major cause. The kid which failed in fifth standard, now it is not. And few years back, one kid committed suicide because he was failed in fifth standard. And this is failure to accept failure to accept the situation. And this is one of the psychological disturbance cause. Negative prediction, broken families, divorce in the family, disturbed affairs, failure to accept changes in life, killer games like blue whale, many other things, bereavement, losing someone close to anyone, severe or long term stress, unemployment or losing job, homelessness or poor housing, being a long term carer for someone. For example, if a person is suffering from Pakshagatra, cerebrovascular accident, the caretaker has a major psychological burden. So this is one of the cause. In malignancy also, domestic violence, bullying or other abuse as an adult. In toto, if you want to screen our text, it is all regarding stress. Causes may be n, but the ultimate is the person is suffering from stress, person is unable to cope with the burden which is given to him, or the willpower, the person willpower which is very low in the individual to cope with the task given. And our Ayurveda says, Manasa punarishtasya labat anishtasya upajayate. We can interpret this concept in two ways. Manasa punarishtasya. Punarishtasya alabat. Punarishtasya alabat means when we are desiring something and we are not getting, or we are getting what we are not desiring. And this is considered as one of the major cause for psychological disturbance and psychological disorders. And if you want to interpret this punarishtasya labhat again, that means punarishtasya labhat, we are given, we are provided what we are desiring. Okay. This is a scenario which is seen in the current society. Child desires so many things, and everything is provided by the parents because they are not provided with the things when they are in the state of childhood or when they are kids. Those facilities were not available to them, but now they want to provide everything to their kids. What happens? Child desires, everything is given. I want this, I want that, I want everything. Everything is provided. And when the child grows up, when one failure enters into his life, the child gets collapsed because he or she has never exposed to any negative situation in the life. And this is the main cause where the various psychological disturbances are seen in the child. So we need to say no to the kid, or we need to say wait, we need to have some amount of money to buy or fulfill your wishes. Just try to communicate your problems to the kid in a very smooth manner so that it will get convinced, it will understand the situation, it will accept the things. And this I should not desire because this will create lot of problem in the family. Try to do this, or else it will become a cause for psychological disturbance. We have other set of disorders where the things are quoted like Choraihi, Narendra Purishaihi, Aribistata, Anyaihi, Vitrasitasya, Dhanabandhava Sankshayadva. This is the context taken from Sushruta Samhita, where he says Mano Dukkaja Unmada or Adija Unmada. And this is because of threatening by Chora, thieves, or Narendra Purusha, or kingmen, or any enemies. So these are also considered for cause for psychological disturbance. Dhanabandhava Sankshayadva, loss of kids and kins, or loss of finance. This is also considered as cause for psychological disturbance. Now, we have seen all these things. Now we all have a role to play. So we have understood why this psychological disturbance is occurring in the individual. what happens with them, what is the state of insight about their condition. So, being a human beings, we all have a role to play because whenever we find anyone suffering with, we are supposed to pull them out of that condition so that they can live happily. Okay, so all, especially being a professionals, we are having lot of responsibility, and we are a mainstream of people who are supposed to educate the people regarding mental health and its importance. Okay, now chai pe charcha is very common in individuals. If anyone comes to you and says, I'm having some depressive episodes, or I'm suffering from this, I have issues in life, so we feel this is our responsibility to maintain the confidentiality, because the person had come to you and shared his views. We cannot do chai pe charcha because confidentiality is must in our profession, so that we can help them in the real sense to come out of their condition. Never do chai pe charcha of issues of anyone's life who come to you and seek help. This is one message from my side to all my students, fraternities. Especially we have major role. Ayurveda is not a simple medicine. It is not a simple medical science. It has spirituality in it, because it birth has taken during Samudra Mathana. We all know the story of this, and it is very noble science, authentic science, and it has a spiritually connected things in it. So, being a Vaidya of Ayurveda, we have a lot of responsibility in saving society, lot of responsibility in guiding society, in educating society about the mental health, so that they can live their life happily. Now propagate Ayurveda for Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We are one family. Whole globe is a one family. We'll propagate our Ayurveda so that it will help society to stay away from stress and mental ailments. Mental ailments can be managed, or it can be prevented by following ideal dinacharya, the rules and regulations which are quoted in our text, how we are supposed to live our day-to-day life. Okay, Rutucharya, how to follow the seasonal variations, Sadvrita, ideal rituals, Achara Rasayana. Further, we have three concepts which are explained in Ayurveda: Devyapashtaya, Yuktivapashtaya, and Sattvavajaya. These three are considered as tripod treatment modalities in our literature, where Devyapashtaya is something we are treating human beings with spiritual ways. Devyapashtaya. It is, I have read one quote from one book where he says, we are not human beings with spiritual experiences. We are spiritual beings with human experiences. That means we are spiritual beings. Spirituality is existing inside us, and we are having human experience in this society. That means we are not human beings with spiritual experiences. We are spiritual beings with human experiences. So Devyapashtaya is something which helps you to come out of the situation through mantra, aushada, mani, mangala, bali, upahara, homa, niyama, prayashita, upavasa, swasthayana, pranipata, gamanadini. So all these, you know, before also. So all these modality will help you to support the psychological status. Next is Yukti Vapashraya, rational treatment, where we can plan through Shodhana and Shamana. That means we can detoxify the body, we can have pacificatory therapies which are explained in Ayurveda. And these two have major role in preventing psychological disturbances, psychological disorders, where he says, Mana prasadam apnoti smriti sanyacha vindati. That means the Shodhana therapy, purificatory therapy will accelerate mana, smriti, and buddhi, and this have major role in maintaining ideal psychological status with the help of Yukti Vapashtaya. Next comes Sattvavajaya, the major part, where he says, Acharya Charaka says, Punarahitebhyo artebhyo mano nigraha. When we are controlling our sensory organs or mind from indulging in unwholesome objects, we see something, we hear something, we feel something. But when we are not able to control our indriya or sensory organs, we will indulge in all those factors which we see, which are considered as negative, which you also know, we also know. But when we are able to control our mind from indulging in unwholesome activities, it will definitely help in maintaining mental health. Further, Acharya Chaika says, Dhidairyatmadi Vijnana Manadosha Aushadam Param. Ashtangarida. Dhidairyatmadi, that means when the person has a good judgment, when has confidence, or Atmadi Vijnana, when he has his own weakness and strength, or the knowledge about oneself, Desha Kula Atmadi Jnana, then this will also contribute the maintaining healthy state of mind. For example, I always quote this example. When you have awareness about yourself, I always say, call one student's name and say, if I ask you to buy at 100 shloka by in 24 hours, will you agree? And if you don't have that capacities to say no to someone, and it will create problem, that means we should know our strength. Am I able to this task or not? Am I overloading myself? We can take risk, we can take multiple tasks, but we should know our capacity, because unnecessary overloading one thing, oneself with multiple tasks will create lot of issues. So know yourself, then only you will come out of the psychological disturbance. Know yourself, understand your weakness, understand your strength, so that you can focus on it and live happily. Let me have one case report. A female patient aged 18 years, she's unmarried, a student of degree, and her parents, and she came to our OPD. And the issue which was discussed is anger outburst, episodes of injuring others, and this has aggravated from past last 2 years. And this habit was seen, this behavior is seen in the kid, in the patient from last when she is at the age of 5 years, associated with headache, burning sensation in the abdomen, chest, episodes of loss of consciousness for 10 to 15 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day. They have consulted multiple physicians, neurologists, psychiatrists, and prescribed with clonazepam and risperidone. When the investigations were done, blood investigations, CT, MRI, brain, everything was normal. But the episodes or the presentation was continuing since past 2 years. And we tried to treat with oral medications, and also Shodhana, we tried with Virechana. Conditions were comparatively reduced with Virechana, counseling, and oral medications. But when I called her father for counseling, most of the time when we are trying to treat any patient, it's our duty to speak with family members also, so that we can actually get input from them. So when we started talking to her parents, and that revealed that the father is very short tempered, and he used to support her brother a lot. So this had made her psychologically disturbed and created all these issues. And she is not malingering. She has headache actually, and all this conscious loss of consciousness. Everything is, it is not pretending, but everything was exhibited in the patient. So when we spoke with parents, we realized that father is, he is a very responsible person, but he is very short tempered, used to judge everything, and she used to like father a lot, but there is a gap, he feels she should not touch me, all those things. And this had created a lot of issues, and she has developed anger outburst. When we started counseling father, and when we started convincing him, he could understand what is going wrong with him. And as soon as he found out his fault, he could manage the condition better at home. So after this counseling, when she came for next setup, she was absolutely fine. She is not taking any medicine nowadays. She is going to college. She is fine. So this is the concept which I wanted to say. The concept of achara. Achara, where he says, Shastra Shiksha Krita Vyavaharaha, rules and regulation which are explained in our text or taught by our teachers, right? A Desha Kulanupati, that means the rules and regulations which the society has. We can correlate it to script. Script in the sense text written by the surrounding people on us during our childhood. Okay. Based on that, we behave. Some may be very short temper, and this is because of the influence of family members, maybe. So, when a person is mentally ill in the family, it is not a personal failure. It is a failure of the family. It is the failure of community. It is the failure of society. Right? Wounded children become wounded adults, and wounded adults can destroy themselves or possibly others. Based on the prevalence of psychiatric disorder, it is a need of the hour to follow ideal lifestyle, which is explained in Ayurveda. Even though certain course of conduct are explained in treatise, this should be effectively inculcated in the life during the early childhood in the form of script. And I would like to correlate this script to achara, because when the proper achara is given
Ma'am, sorry
to
to
the kid
interrupt you.
by the ideal parents. Okay.
Ma'am, we are
Okay.
getting twice your
Okay.
voice, ma'am. Can you please your other phone muted, ma'am?
Okay. Right? Padesha Kulanupati. That means the rules and regulations which the society has. Let me log out. We can correlate it to script. Script is a okay now? Text written by the surrounding people on us during our childhood. Is this okay? Based on that, we behave. Some may be very. Am I audible? And this is because of. Am I audible? Family members may be.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You're audible, ma'am. You're audible.
When a person is mentally ill in the family, it is not a person. Okay, now it's clear, right? Okay. So now we have a lot of responsibility being Ayurveda Vaidya. And when we try to pull someone from the issue, any issue, when they have, when they develop that smile, thankful smile on their face, automatically we get motivated, or we will forget our issues. And this is life, and no one is away from stress. Everyone has their own level of stress. Managing that stress makes difference. And when we are helping, or when we are pulling someone from their issues, that automatically will help us to become a strong person in the life. So we have a double-edged benefit as Ayurveda Vaidya to help others as well as to strengthen ourselves. Now, before or during helping others, there is a question that are we happy? Are we really happy? Right? This makes happiness makes difference, right? When we are happy, we can help others more. When we are sad, we can help others. That is different issue. But when we are actually happy, the words we convey to others, it has a lot of positive energy. But when we are sad, we can convey, but the energy will be somewhat low. Okay. Now, self-respect and acceptance. Self-respect is we are supposed to respect ourselves. Let me quote one example. I had one patient. She is a highly educated and working woman. She had issues with her husband, and she tried her level best to set right the things. Finally, she felt, let me take help from some the spiritual person so that our family issues can be set right. But when she went to take help, that person tried to exploit her in spite of her educational level, in spite of our financial backup level. She entered into such a critical situation, but he could not exploit her. That is different issue. But the thing is, when we become weak inside, let me quote one example. I had one patient. She is a highly educated and working woman. She had issues with her husband, and she tried her level best to set right the things. Okay. Finally, practicing acceptance can bring about profound peace in our life. Sometimes there will be a lot of issues, but when we start accepting things, we'll try to move on. When we start accepting things, it will be easy because we cannot change everyone, right? When we cannot change our some habits, how can we control the thoughts of others? So we are supposed to accept the things so that we can live peacefully. When we accept ourselves, others, and life circumstances as they are, We release ourselves from the burden of constantly striving for perfection, control, or
ಡಬಲ್ ವಾಯ್ಸ್
validation.
ಬರ್ತಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್
So,
ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಂಗೆ ಬರ್ತಿದೆ.
acceptance is needed, self respect is needed. This is for all my community people. And
ಹೇಳ್ದೆ ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್
I
ಹಂಗೆ
have this slide for you all because we wake up many a times
ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಹೇಳಿ.
before we actually wake up. That means we keep alarms, we
ಅಲ್ಲ
off,
ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಕಾಲ್
again it
ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡು.
will ring. So many a times we wake up before we
ಹೌದಾ
actually wake up from the
ಇಲ್ಲ
bed.
ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ
And this will
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್
happen when
ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪಲ್ಲಿ
we are
ಆಗ್ತಿರೋದು.
not happy inside. For
ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ
example, let
ಮ್ಯೂಟ್
me quote
ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ,
one example. In
ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್
childhood,
ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
we have
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು
a
ಯಾವುದೋ
festival,
ಫೋನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು
we had
ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಓಪನ್
festival in the
ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
temple or anywhere in the festival. That time we used to wake up early in the morning. Okay, that means
ಹೌದಾ
we have
ಓಕೆ
some
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
positive tasks that day that made us to wake up early. So every day when you wake up, you should have some positive tasks. We should be happy inside so that you will wake up only once before you actually wake up. There is invisible enemy which is existing inside us, and we have two lives, the life we live and the unlived life within us. Between the two stands resistance, and this resistance will block us. Okay, and this resistance comes, we won't be able to finish our task. There will be overload of tasks, and finally it will disturb the psychological status. And when we come out of this resistance, we'll automatically get clarity of our life,
ಹಾಂ
clarity of
ಮೋಹನ್
our aim, clarity of goal of the life. And we are supposed to boost our
ನಾನಾ
mental health.
ನಾನಾ
We are supposed to get connected
ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ
socially. We are supposed to manage the stress, and quality of sleep, of course, has a major contribution in our life. We are supposed to pull the weeds from our life. This is weeds in terms of negative thoughts or negative people who are existing around to maintain our mind in a balanced state. Let me brief the mental health. We are supposed to minimize the needs so that we can fit into the resources which are available to avoid unnecessary stress. Expect less from anyone. Expectation hurts. Negative thought to be changed as positive. Today is important. Living in past has no role. Living in future, thinking about future is also problematic. Today is important. Actively involved with today's task, you will build. Accept reality. Loneliness to be avoided. Continue hobbies. It will refresh you. Express feelings. You should be active always. Learn skills. Tackle one problem at a time. Don't take multiple tasks. Healthy lifestyle is one more contribution. And we have 5 Ds: dream, discipline, determination, dedication, and divine bless. Dream is always needed. people. For example, if we try to convince the console or counsel the patient for 1 hour, the person will be okay. I will do this, do that. But when a person tells someone, now you came. What is the use? You will be same, no? What is the use of counseling? the psychological disturbance, or the abuse or misuse of the things which give temporary pleasure. That means we are supposed to give a health awareness talk to the students so that they can identify them under condition which you are explaining, and they can try to come out of it. Most of the time what they will do is they will involve in negative activities.
ಹಂಗೆ ನೀನೇ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡು ತ್ರಿಷಾ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡು